G'day, Rowan from JTS. We've got one of these new Ford Rangers in. You know, they're a really good bit of kit, I reckon. They're pretty well made and they're all designed very different than the old one. But there's a couple of little tricks that we've done on this one. So I'll open her up. Gas struts would be nice. Ford, if you're listening. All right, so what we've put into this car is power to the tow bar, which is the power kit to power up your caravan situation. So we've put that in here, and we've got a relay in behind there, 100 amp relay, and it runs to an Anderson at the back. We run all of those with 6 BNS, and we're now starting to work into 4 BNS, only because we're getting a lot more requirement to charge faster when you're driving in the caravan, and sort of less requirement for power in the vehicle itself. I guess that's just bigger caravans and more off-grid use. So that's something that we're offering now, is that 4 BNS run to the rear. It's still running through a relay, and it'll only work when the ignition is on, and that's the concept behind that. So we've got power to the tow bar, we've got power to the tub. So this one has actually got a system behind the seats, and then the top one here is for a compressor. So we did put a compressor into the bonnet space here, and that's a good option because you can't put a dual battery system with lithium under the bonnet so much. So what we suggest is, why not put your compressor under the bonnet? It can handle the heat a bit better, and often you've got to have the car started and running anyway to utilise the compressor. So we put them in under the bonnet here, and there are some brackets around to put the compressor here or even down into here, but there's a space over the other side on this Ford Ranger which is either for a dual battery or for your catch can and pre-fuel, which we aren't seeing so much of at this stage. So we put the TJM compressor over there. We've put it on a little angle bracket so it sits in there. We had to put obviously nutserts in and that to get that bracket to sit in nicely, but it does go in there beautifully. And works off the Pirate Campco switch inside, which we'll show you in a sec. All right, so let's jump inside. You can hop in the passenger seat if you like. Welcome aboard. All right, so inside the Ranger, it's really jam-packed with electronics, but most of it is fairly useful as far as we can use and see. Pirate Campco do a really nice switch panel that sits in here. It still gives you utilization of your charging pad down here, but it moves your USB plug from the bottom here up into the switch panel, and then you get 4 switches to choose from. So for this one, we've got driving lights on the front, we've got our compressor switch, and there's no compressor switch made in that size yet. So it's just a blank, and we'll try and get a compressor sticker there. And then you've got 2 more. One of those will probably be a pass-through for a UHF, and the other one, not sure yet. We might try and get a blank in there just to fill the space or something. Now, that's all running through from the front there through to here. Power's coming from over in the bottom corner here. So in these new Rangers, they're all set up for a switch panel that goes up here. So you can run lights and all those sort of things. So in the higher level vehicles, you get a switch panel, or it's optional, but the wiring's already in the bottom corner here. There's ignition, there's high beams, and there's parkers as well. So what you can do there is, if you're putting a switch panel in here, you just run your parker light from there up into here, so when you turn your headlights on, the lights come on for the switches. I'll show you that. So you can see the driving light lights up down the bottom there. Volume's in the middle, a bit tricky. And then when you turn your high beams on, the switch comes on blue. And the compressor, press in, press out. That's not working because it's holding pressure. That's what you want, isn't it? Hey. And then, so down the bottom there is where we've gotten our ignition source from, and it's also where we've gotten our lights from as well. And the high beams came from there. TJM fitted that, and we just installed the switch up in the top here. So that's really good. Just one little tip that I would say is put a little fuse in, mini fuse in there, and that way it's fused for whatever we're taking out of it. Okay. Now we'll shoot down to the back to show you the power to tow bar. Yep, so we're camouflaged down the back. Now we've got our 12 pin and we've got our Anderson down the back, and that's switched off ignition, of course, so when there's no car, there's no power. When the car's started, off she goes and charges in the back. Now in the tub, we've also put a fridge and fridge slide. We've mounted his charger, and there's a U-Butte stereo in here and some power outlets, but the main power is behind the passenger's rear seats. Let's have a look. All right, so in the back here, we've got a lithium battery, and it's a Bluetooth one, so you don't really need to have an app with that. But we do also have the Victron shunt in here, because we find it's a much better way of looking at your state of charge. There's a Victron charger in here for 240, and there's a 1225 from Red Arc as well. It's all set up, EnerDrive inverter. It's probably one good point to bring up. You don't need to have all the same brand. Sometimes a certain product works better in a certain situation. So like here, you want a small charger. So Red Arc's the best for that, because it does car charge as well as solar. If you want a 240 charger, Victron's the smallest for the amount of amp output. It's also a brilliant unit, so that's the best one for that situation. And EnerDrive inverters are the best value for money as far as we can tell on the market. They're just fantastic units. They never come back, they never break. All right, so that's the power system in here, all set up, and they're going to be off grid forever. It's fantastic. All right, so that's another one done and dusted from us. But if you're looking for a system like this, or you want to get your car powered up or your caravan powered up, give us a call here at JTS. We're doing quite a few of these new Rangers. So come in, we'll set the kit up, and you'll be ready to tow and get yourself out on the road.